All right, another log pressing day. I had Hunter and Joey this time again. Joey's my first client ever, so I've been coaching now, coming up on a year or so in March, maybe a little bit more with Joey specifically. But yeah, Joey was my first client, so it's cool. He's always trying to do events with me. I'm done doing powerlifting meets with coaching clients because it's too hard to concentrate on yourself and somebody else. But I do let Joey jump in and do strongman with me because it's not my expertise. I'm as much an amateur at it as anybody else, just maybe a little bit bigger and physically stronger than most guys. But so yeah, it's fun to have Joey jumping in. So me, Joey, and Hunter are doing this competition coming up on March 14th. And for me and Hunter, this is kind of standard stuff. Joey's jumping in with us because he just finished a powerlifting meet that he did. Now he gets to train with us. So we always warm up same way. Grab dumbbells, kind of light. You're gonna do 30 reps. You want to make the first and the last ones look the same. And we like to hammer the reverse pec deck, especially for log. I find this to be a really good warm up. Get the trapezius muscles going, your rear delts. Gives you a lot more stability when you're in that lean back position on log. Plus, I just think my rear delts has been a weakness for a long time, so it's good to get all this extra volume on rear delt work. And Hunter's been a big fan of it too, so we've put Joey through that. As a coach, I program a lot of rear delts, so I wouldn't say it's a weakness for Joey by any means. Hunter was kind of taking it a little bit lighter today. I think this was one of the first times I've seen him show a little bit more of that fatigue. Oh, here we go. Christian jumped in for a second, tried to out angle me. So we jumped into the log and we're just kind of feeling it out. There's some empty log reps. This is really more about working technique. The biggest thing that I've found is that I'm better at the clean if I treat it like I'm doing a speed deadlift off the floor and then a super aggressive pop right there. Because if I land with my elbows underneath the log, the press is generally pretty easy. If I left the audio on, you just hear the guys making fun of me the whole day about not using my legs at all to press. I don't really know why, considering how strong my squat is, how bad I am at push pressing. Just my body just doesn't seem to want to do it. That wasn't the best clean. See how the elbows really weren't underneath it. There you go. Joey did a better job right there. If the clean is super fast and aggressive, then the elbows land directly underneath the log, and then the press is just so much faster and easier. But you got to trust yourself in that lean back position, and that's kind of what I've learned. And I'm by no means an expert, so if somebody knows more about log than me and wants to jump in the comments and tell me what we're all doing wrong, that's fine. Right there, I would say Joey definitely didn't have his elbows high enough, and I coached him up on that all day. So, if the elbows are super out wide when you're in that seated position, then they land underneath the log better. And he had his like mega flared out right when he landed, so probably no chance of that press. And Joey's overhead power is not as good as, like, let's say his bench, so he's not going to be able to force through. Whereas mine is pretty good. I would still like to be a lot stronger. I'm actually kind of mad that I can't like barbell past 315 overhead consistently. In fact, I haven't done it at all. I've done an axle 300 in my first strongman comp pretty easily. But yeah, still working on it. But when I land right in those cleans, those presses are pretty easy for me. That was better for Joey, and see there, he gets the press away, much better. My technique got better as I went. I think that was a 270 or so. And I struggled a little bit at the lockout, maybe just losing upper back tightness, but not bad. And I had made the commitment on this day that once the RPE got kind of high, I would drop the weight down. So this is what I continue to do, is just a lot of singles with I think 205 pounds. Joey similarly using a weight just under his competition weight. There we go, much better with the elbows out, and then he eventually gets them underneath there, and then look how easy the press is. As an accessory, we decided to do close grip banded bench. Those red bands are pretty darn heavy, so this was really good work. It's funny because for me, after I finished up the powerlifting competition I did in December, I kind of took a month completely off bench press, and then I slowly started to get back into it and found that I could bench more than I could before. My competition best is 435, which is an Illinois state record for USPA. But I've recently done 440, I think it was 444 in the gym with a really good pause. And then this last week I tried 445, but I think I'm going to blame the combination of the leg injuries I have. I still have like a torn adductor and hamstring. I've got bruising pretty bad on my left leg. So I did a lot of Larson pressing before that. But either way, when I tried the 454, I lost upper back tightness and just couldn't lock it out. It's about as close as you could come. So I do kind of hope that at the end of this training cycle, I could throw up about 465, which might be ambitious, but I'm gonna hope for that because that would be cool going into my training for USPA Nationals, which is going to be in May in California. So I'm happy to be doing some secondary bench work again on these pressing days and start to take that more seriously. And this felt really good with the amount of band tension. We get up to like 100 kgs plus the bands, and it's probably well over 300 at the top. It feels really good. I think I was the only one that kept it close grip at that weight. Hunter did do the 100 kgs, but he's going to use like a more wide grip. I find that long pause, close grip is a good bench accessory for me. Not necessarily like a full blown secondary movement, but more so just an accessory, just a good builder of the triceps. So there we go. This is 100 kgs or 220 or so, plus the red bands, and I can get some good speed off of it. I'm getting good pauses. I was feeling a little bit of discomfort in that left leg, so it wasn't amazing. I definitely don't have any leg drive, but that's all right. We're pressing it out. There's Hunter. He went back to that wider grip, and because he's a shot putter, he's always gonna bounce it a little bit off his chest. Then we went back to the dumbbells and did some more serious weight. You can't tell in this video, but I'm laughing because this bench, the way it was set, I'm 6'1". I don't have long legs. I'm all torso, but my legs are literally kicking off the ground, making Hunter and Joey laugh, and I was doing it on purpose. And so this was 80s for, I don't know, just a ton of reps. We were just going to get in a lot of volume. But the truth is, Joey and Hunter really weren't feeling it at that point. So we kind of finished up and did accessories. So this was kind of my last big accessory of the day. Did some dips, which I think a man doing dips at 340 pounds, pretty impressive. So that was cool.